Now we're gathering. Oh, sign-in sheets on the pool table. What's that? I know. You make them sit up front, and then you got to get up here in a minute. It's like Price is Right. You got to cheer. Be a lot easier if we had a countdown clock. Good morning. All right, everybody, about 3 minutes. Start to gather in front. Those of you over on the side, we got to gather in front of the cameras over here. Chris, everybody, start gathering around. We've got 2 minutes. People start coming over, gather in front of the... Come gather in front of the cameras, guys. Everybody that acts like they're not listening to me, start gathering towards the cameras. Everybody sign? What do we got? All right, everybody, come on over. Gather in front of the cameras so we can get ready. Jamal, come on over. Gather and stand up. Everybody start standing up. We got about a minute and a half. Stand in front of the cameras. Get in front of the cameras. No, in front of the cameras. In front of the cameras. Right over here. You guys got to get in front of the cameras for a minute. Come on, everybody else stand up, get in front of the camera. Jamal, get everybody. Follow Jamal. Come on, get going. Just right over in here. Right in there. Everybody stand up. Come on, everybody, get over here. Get up. Get over here. Come on, get up. If you don't feel stupid, you're not doing it right. What? Come on over, get over in front. Stand up. Everybody stand up. You're doing good. Get in front of the cameras. We got 1 minute left, so we got it. Come on, people. No. Come on. Get over here. We'll get the countdown here in a minute. Yeah, we last more than 2 minutes around here in the coolest office. It's not the Kentucky Derby. Come on, everybody. All right, come on, get over here. Come on. It's ready. Come on, get over here. Brooks, Conrad, come on over. Come on. You got to get in front of the camera, people. Get more people. What do we got? Come on, Bobby. Get in front of the camera. Come on. Go stand over there. It's just your backs, people. Ready? Come on. Give me the countdown, Beta. There you go. There you go. Thank you. We got a couple of where. That was Jeff, Jamal. Thank you, buddy. That was half-assed for the rest of you guys, though. I'm going to tell you. We got a lack of energy on you guys. Well, welcome, everyone, to the coolest office. Although today it's a little muggy in here, isn't it, Janet? Even Janet, yeah. Janet's got her deal. Well, welcome everybody. We got an amazing sales meeting, as we always do. Got some good guests. Got Chris Bishop in the house, ready to moderate. That's it. That's it. Wow. Wow. All right. Roya.
All right, good. Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys all for being here. We're gonna, before we even get started, we are gonna pass around a piece of paper so you guys can sign in for the ABR training Thursday and Friday. Make sure you do that. You're not gonna get this anywhere else. So, and it's free, and they feed you. So, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna feed you, but it is free. It is free. It is free. So forget about that part. So, anyways, it's good for you guys for your future and everything. We're gonna start off with Mortgage Moments with Miss Shelley.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Did you guys all get this piece of paper? I was going to put it on a slide, but I decided I would actually just print it for you and waste paper. But I wanted to share with you condo financing. How many of you have gone through a condo transaction or a transaction where you were either the listing agent or the buyer's agent on what we thought was a condo or townhome? Yeah, okay. So I actually had a couple phone calls this weekend, and also one of our clients today experienced this where the transaction appeared to look like a townhome. Smelled like a townhome, acted like a townhome, but once we pulled up the assessor's office, guess what? It wasn't a townhome, it was a condo. So on this piece of paper, it shares with you what it looks like on the assessor's page. How many of you know how to access that through MLS? Okay. So, and if not, you can always go online, right through Clark County Assessors to pull up that information. And I know why it's so easy to see that it looks like a townhome, and that's because it says right up front, Falcon Homes Pecos Townhomes Phase 2. But then as you look down further, there's like a second box on this piece of paper. It says row house, townhouse, condo ownership. That, from a title perspective, from a land perspective, indicates this is actually a condo that was built to look like a townhome. And so as far as financing is concerned, that requires us as a lender to treat this as a condo. And as a condo for us, we do have to ensure that our condo is actually condo approved as well. Now, how do we go through that process? With FHA and VA, there's great lists that are available that lets us know immediately if that condo is approved. With FHA specifically, if for some reason the condo is either expired on an approval or it's not even approved, there is a process for us to do what we call a single unit approval. Say that with me, single unit approval. This client that we actually pulled in, they thought it was a townhome. We did find out as we got the prelim. The second page to that paper is the prelim that also says condominium all over it. It's highlighted in multiple areas. It says this is a condominium, this is a condominium, this is a condominium. Smells like a townhome, acts like a condominium. And so what we were able to do, though, was flip this from a conventional loan into an FHA loan, and now we're going down the path of single unit approval. I had one of your agents actually reach out to me because she's listing what looks like a townhome, but we found out through doing this search, we found out that it is actually a condo. And the great news about that condo, it is on the FHA and VA approved list, so we're able to get that easily approved. It's much easier to get them approved if they're already on that list. We also have a condo approval list for conventional financing as well. So if you guys have any questions on that, you can always reach out to one of your favorite Prosperity Lending loan officers. And non-warrantable condos, do you guys know what those are? Non-warrantable condos, do you want one of these? Those would be ones that are not on the approved list, ones that we potentially can't get approved, maybe because of owner occupancy, maybe because of defects, maybe because of multiple reasons. We also have financing for that. So know that we have A to Z from condo financing, whether it's FHA, VA, conventional, and even your condo tells, like the Palms is a condo tell, and your non-warrantable condos. Any questions at all for me? Okay, have an amazing week.
Nice job. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Go ahead.
And of course, we always want to thank Shelley. And tomorrow night, thank Shelley again for helping sponsor our managing broker sit down, which is tomorrow night. Who was there last month? We had a bunch of people there last month. Who was at the open house? You guys were all, yeah, I know there was a few there. So tomorrow night, 3:30. Thanks, Shelley, for that. She's been a wonderful partner for Signature in our family, so thank you for that. So yeah.
Awesome.
Tomorrow night, 3:30, right here.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go right into wants and needs. So who has something they want to sell? A buyer. Listening, come on up, Yared. Come on, you guys, just line right up. Line right up. This is your time to market your
Wants and
properties.
needs.
Get your sales hats on. Let's go.
I have a five-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-story, 3,000 square foot, no HOA in Henderson off of 215 and Gibson, and sellers are very motivated, and it's listed for $650 right now. TBD. TBD.
Nice. Great. Awesome. Who else? Come on, Jamal.
Yeah, hi, Jamal Lilly, Green Valley office, best office. So I have a condo that is going to be on Painted Desert Golf Club. 3-bedroom, it's the bigger one at 1,700 square feet. It's not listed yet, but we are going to be planning to do a lot of remodeling and have it listed probably within 2 weeks. Going to be going at 330, 3 bedrooms, 1,700 square feet on the golf course, 2 HOAs, both on the second gate. So.
Nice. Who else? Come on up. Come on up.
Anybody? Leslie, anybody?
I'm
Chris?
going right in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a condo on the market for $300,000 even right here on 215 in Valle Verde. It's got a 2-bedroom. No, it is a 2-bedroom. Yes, it is a 2-bedroom. Sorry about that. My glasses are even on. And that's we just put it on the market. We have 3 condos on the market coming soon in Mesquite, and they do. What is the word I'm looking for? They do qualify for Launchpad program, so make sure you guys come and talk to us about that. In addition to the one in Pahrump, there's also a 3-bedroom there that's for sale. So these are all in the 300 mark. The condos in Mesquite are 200. So if you have some people that are looking to get some good deals, come see us. Who else has something? Okay, Miss Janet.
Who wants high rise? Hold on, I got one.
Sorry.
Who wants high rise? I've got 2 new ones coming on, smaller ones. I got one 1,500 square feet. Probably around in the 500s. I've got one Turnberry. Got another one about 2,000. It'll be in the 800s. And then I got a penthouse redone, $2.5 million, and that's 4,000 square feet. And that's on the 28th floor, almost 300-degree views of the strip. So come join the high life. For the sky? Good luck with that. Yeah, that's a tough one because that's just bring them, come show them Turnberry. For the sky, a buyer for the sky, yeah, a buyer for the sky, yeah, sky the high rise. Go ahead, Janet.
Okay, good morning. Okay, so first of all, the big news is Thursday and Friday we are Signature's having the ABR designation class. Now, we're going to make it really easy on you. First of all, it's free, totally free. And you can go to the Green Valley office. You can go to the Northwest office. The Spanish Ridge office is full. We cannot take any more RSVPs. However, Roya told me that there's nobody from Green Valley signed up. But you're going to Spanish Ridge. So, but here's the thing why RSVPs are so important, because this ABR designation comes with a book about this thick, and Keith Kelly is going to pick up those books in the morning from LVR. And if you have not RSVP'd, you're not getting a book. So please RSVP. And you can let Roya know, but please go email Kyla at Spanish Ridge Front Desk, Kyla at signaturenv.com, so I can let Keith know how many books we need. Now, the Green Valley.
The other Keith, not me. The other Keith.
Keith Kelly, not this Keith. He's not going to go.
Keith.
He's not going to go pick up any books. But his daughter is going to deliver them to this office. So, Green Valley is going to be right here. Designated classroom situation on the TV with an official monitor. You must come both days. Now, when I started setting this up with LVR, They told me 8:30 to 5. All the flyers say 8:30 to 5. But the instructor said, no, no, no. 9 to 12, an hour break, start again at 1, finish for the day by 4. So 9 to 4 and 12 hours of agency CE. You don't need 12 hours of agency. So if you don't have agency, count 3 of them for agency and the other 9 as your electives. So any questions on that? If you don't RSVP, you're not going to get a book. And the books are really, really thick and packed full of information. In fact, I mailed 3 of them, not overnight mail, but second day mail to Elko, and it cost me $55. That's how thick those books are. So RSVP. Any questions on ABR? Okay. I didn't hear the comments. Jason? This Thursday, this Friday. Okay, next. Friday, August 2nd, LVR General Membership Meeting at Durango Station. You must RSVP. And then Thursday, August 8th, 6 o'clock, YP and Who's Who Under 40. We have 4 agents who are being honored. It would be wonderful if you could show up to support them. And then Friday, August 28th is the MLS Tech Forum. Well worth attending. They do this every year. Lots of information, lots of fabulous door prizes like you won't get anywhere else. Big screen TVs, iPads, all kinds of stuff. Now, so here's what happened to me. Dave Sanders asked me to send him something in the app. So I'm sitting at my desk and I'm looking at my computer and I'm like, I don't know how to send anything through the app. I can respond, but I don't know how to do that. So I did scream Kyla, but so if you're in the same position that I am, if you think there's so much more in the signature app that you don't understand, guess what? On Monday, August the 5th, 11 o'clock, Spanish Ridge, immediately after his coaching session, our very own Chris Bishop is going to teach a class on the app. So thank you, Chris. So all I'm asking again is, please RSVP with Kyla in my office because we can't have 80 people show up, and I know there are 80 of you who don't even have a clue. You're in worse shape than I am, so but we don't have room. So first 40, get in. Any questions on that? Okay, thank you very much.
Who's the 40 under 40? Who's our 40 under 40?
We have Stephanie,
Tyson. Who else?
Angela. And Kelsey.
And Chelsea. Yeah.
Chelsea came.
Blanchard, you and I didn't make it again. What's that making, 19 years in a row now? This is bullshit.
All right, so Mr. Jamal, come on up. We're going to talk a little bit about WCR and some endorsing. Okay, cool.
All right, just real quick, because when was it, November, when Tiffany Banks came up and talked about the leadership program, I had no idea. Like, I wasn't a part of any communities. I wasn't a part of any affiliations, and I didn't know what I was getting into. We're on our second session, and I legitimately, it's been life-changing, to be completely honest with you. Just the people that I've got to meet, some of the ideas and some of just the camaraderie and the tribe-like mentality. So if you have the opportunity, like, leadership has been phenomenal, just me and my business, but me as a person on just growing. So in saying that, you do really just, first of all, I didn't even know SNR was here, Nevada Realtors, and that's what they call us in the North, and I'm like, weirdos, right? And I from going through this, I really figured out how to like be a better realtor. So in saying that, we have one of our realtors who's going to be up for president, and that's T. Cross. There's no one who I've seen who works harder and does a better job than her. So if you guys are in Women's Council, you're able to vote, please Yeah, for
WCR.
WCR, sorry, for Women's Council and everything. Like, T is phenomenal. She's, I don't know who she's running against, but if you have an opportunity to go to leadership and go to, just vote and be a part of a committee, do so, because I wasn't, and I feel like I'm left out. So, I wanted to take this time to endorse it and just really become better realtors, join leadership, and join what you can do. But go for T.
Great stuff. Chris, come on up. Good stuff. I knew you'd love it. Yeah. Chris, come on up. Oh, and who hasn't signed in? We got the sign-in still at the pool table. We got giveaways, so make sure you sign in. I know there were a few that came in a little later. Right on the pool table. So come on up. Becky, Jeff, come on up. Yeah.
All right.
Amy,
You guys
come on up.
excited for the best sales meeting you've had this week? Yeah. So a little bit of background about this sales meeting. And yeah, definitely, Jeff, come up and pick a chair. We'll get you all settled in. And then you can stand there while I talk. It's going to be really fun. I was going to introduce them and roll up to it, Keith, but that's okay. It's your office. Do whatever you want. So little background. I got into the real estate business back in 2004-05 after working at a real estate company for 2.5 years. And if you really want to change your perspective of life, go to work for a real estate company and work with some real estate agents, because you get to see how hard they work in their business to create their income. And I was lucky enough at that job not only to work with my mom and dad, but I also met the future love of my life, my wife, Amy. Now, I bring this all up because I want to embarrass the hell out of my wife as much as I can before she has to talk in public. But I bring it up for a couple of pieces of context. So number one, Amy's role at that company was the escrow coordinator for all of the agents. So what would happen is you would put an escrow under contract, and you were required by the brokerage to turn that contract in, and they only accepted at that time paper files. And so she had to manage those paper files for about 300 agents. And every time you would take a listing or a buyer-broker agreement, you had to do the same thing. You had to actually take the file folder, and if you guys remember those file folders, Janet, you do, they were about this big, and you had to fill out all the information on the file folder, and you had to turn it in the brokerage, and one person had to maintain all of that paperwork and information. Now, can you imagine maintaining 3,000 files a year, all paper, all handwritten, with no back office system? Right? That was Amy. And so today's panel isn't about Amy and her company, even though she's here. It's about utilizing the value of a transaction coordinator to expand your business. So I'm going to tell you from personal experience, my transaction coordinator was so impactful to my business. It was so important to the role that it had that I decided to marry her. Okay? And there's only one of me and only one of her, so you don't have that opportunity unless something happens to me, which Keith has tried. The reason I picked the rest of this
Keep
panel...
on drinking that coffee.
Yeah. The reason I picked the rest of this panel is all of them have worked with Amy in a different perspective of time for their business, and all have had little bit different experiences on how that role has impacted their business. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions. I want you to be able to ask them a bunch of questions on how they utilize that TC as part of their business. And so everything is on the table. And if you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll get to you. We do need to make sure that you speak into the microphone so everyone at home gets the value to hear. And if you at home have a question, just write it in the chat in beta. We'll jump up and down until I see him, and I'll ask that question as well. So real quick, Amy, I'm going to give you a microphone. Keith, give her the microphone. Tell us a little bit about your company and how it all works so that they have an understanding of what is a TC and what do you do.
Okay, well, first of all, I have 5 people, including myself. I run it kind of like an escrow
Uh,
office. That was my background. I started an escrow 20-something years ago.
How long ago was that?
20.
Okay, just making sure. 20-something years ago, she said.
And from there, went in. I was a listing coordinator to start with, then escrow coordinator, and then decided I didn't like working for people, so I went out and started A to Z Transactions like 13 years ago. I run it like a department. You send me, I'm the front person, but I'm not doing 90% of the work. The girls behind the scenes are doing all of that.
So you're kind of like the face of the product, and you're out there capturing clients and
Yes.
making us feel warm and fuzzy.
Well.
Some of us more than others. By the way, when I send in a work order for something I need, I get told I get to wait till the end of the day. All of you get the value of today, but That's part of being married.
That's not true.
We're going to start with Keith. So, Keith, you have run a very successful business. You literally have conquered the high-rise market at Turnberry because they can't get rid of you. And so tell us why, after years of not necessarily using a TC, why did you make the decision to use a TC?
Almost from day one, and almost from day one, Amy. And that was before, well, I've never really liked Chris, but that was before I actually liked Chris. So I hired her in spite of Chris even. So I got to tell my favorite story, though. So Kyla, my daughter, came up to me one day and she said, "Is Amy married to Chris?" And I go, "Yeah." She didn't come right out and say it, but the look in her face was very obvious. She goes, "She's so smart and so beautiful." And the underlying thought was, why in the hell would she say yes to him, right?
Oh, that's a great story.
Yeah, I love it. That's my second favorite Chris story. And then Amy knows my favorite. We won't tell that one right now. So why? I mean, and those of you that have ever had me as a coach or listened to me in the classroom or wherever, it's all about new dollar and old dollar. And the second you spend time on the old dollar, which is what? Your files, your this, your that, you are not progressing. Your business is not going to go to the next level. You as an agent, you as a team leader should be focused on one thing, the new dollar, the next contract, the next listing, the next buyer presentation. That's all you should be focused on, and everything else should be farmed out as old dollar. And especially for the price, right? And I'm pitching for it even higher, but for that amount of money, you are foolish not to. And I don't care how many extras you have. And so I use it. We work as a team. I introduce. Amy's seen my pitch letters when I send an offer off. It's right in there. We use Amy because a lot of agents know her. So we use Amy. So you don't have to track down the documents. They come to you automatically. You don't have to wait for me, which is the last thing anybody wants to do, is to churn over documents. They're done for you. So the transaction is easier for both sides of the transaction. So stop pursuing the old dollar and start pursuing the new dollar and use a transaction coordinator.
So you as an individual agent doing your level of business, integrate her as part of your team. And so to the public, to your client, to everyone else, it's just part of your process, and you make that all part of that.
It's all part of the buyers and listing, TC, the lenders, everything else. They're all part of the team. And so it's not me. And in this market, the new market that we're coming onto, value of an agent is going to be so much more important than it ever has been. It's always been important. But especially when you see some of these reels that are out there. I just saw one last night that I was just astonished that this guy was putting it out there about what the seller concessions mean. But providing value to your customer and your client is going to be so much more important than it is now. And is it better to have you or a team of professionals, the escrow, the inspectors, all of that stuff that we do? And guess what? Also, you don't have to do. You don't have to explain to them. You've just listed the team. So the people are looking at all these people that are behind, providing value for them and making their transaction smoother without saying a word. I don't have to say a word. Yeah. Here's my team. They do this, this, and this.
We're going to go to Jeff first, and then we'll come to Becky. We're saving the best for last. We'll pass that mic so I can ask you a question when we ask it. Yeah. Jeff, you have a team. You have administrative support. You have people that have roles in that group, and yet you still went and hired a transaction coordinator. How did you make that all come together, and how does it work on your team? Because you do have people, you do have buyer's agents, you do have help and support. How do you make that all come together? By the way, I didn't tell them any of these questions beforehand, so I don't know what they're going to say.
Right. Well, it's funny, is back in the day, paper files, I remember those, and actually hired a intern, so to track my paper files and this and that. She moved on, time has gone on, and then I was, like what Keith was saying, I was doing it myself. And then my wonderful wife said, "No, I'll take that off your plate." And she did it for a while, and then I was told, "Yeah, it's time to get a TC." So, and what's funny is that I did kind of go the route of a lesser expensive TC, and yeah, the difference in what I was supposedly saving is night and day. But it's again, I'm going to say what Keith said, is that it's kind of cool is, yes, when I send out my offers, I do include her as part of my team, also whoever the lender is. And it's really kind of cool to see how many other agents say, hey, I know Bishop, meaning Amy Bishop. But anyways, that's kind of how it started. And I'm kind of a control freak, people that know me. And I will say it did take a little while to kind of
Let it go
and not follow up like, hey, did you, but anyways, it's been a blessing, and it's been what, year and a half or somewhere around there. Anyways, it was, besides the wife, is one of my better decisions in life.
And Keith, just for context, how long have you been using a TC? Is it 7 years? Somewhere in there? 7 years, okay. Yeah. It just got weird. Okay, so it was already weird. Becky, thank you so much for being here. You have just started, like literally maybe 2 months?
Yeah, maybe.
So you just started using a TC. Why for so long? Because you do an amazing business, a high-level business. Why for so long did you not have one, and what made you change your mind to have one?
So, kind of like you, I'm a little bit of a control freak. I have had a couple of TCs in the past, and I've been very disappointed. Sure. They don't get the files in fast enough. I go into Dropbox. I'm like, they're not there. Where are they? And some of them have delayed me getting paid. And it's just, honestly, it's never been worth my time. I'm pretty organized. Like you said, I've done a high level for a long time, and I would just, at night, do all of my paperwork. No problem. I'm getting older, and I want to spend more time myself. I mean, pursuing business, but also for me, because at 24 hours a day, I'm real estate. And now I want some time for me. I have a new dog that's taking up a lot of my time. And so I hired Amy, and she's a little controlling, which I love, because she works as fast as I do. So I love it. She gets the paperwork, it's in Dropbox, she's handling it. So when I'm looking, I'm like, okay, she's got it. So she's doing the kind of job that I would do. So I'm willing to let go. I still do some stuff. I just talked to her about it. I'm still doing some things because I feel like it takes me just as long to tell her what to do as it does for me to just do it myself. Yeah. So I have to let go of that. But it has freed up so much of my time. I have been stuck in Pahrump recently. I don't know why. And so I've had to contact her, like, as I'm driving, can you send this out? Can you do this? Because 3 hours of my time is on the road. So it's been huge. People say, it's okay, you don't have to respond right away. It's okay if you don't get back to the person for another 3 hours while you're driving. That's not okay with me. And it's not true. I don't care. We've all done it. If you're calling people, I don't care, you want a dog wash, and somebody doesn't answer the phone, you're calling the next one. Yep. So it is true. You have to be right on top of it. And she is. And so I'm letting go. I think I'm like 80% there. And I love it. I have less in my mind. Although sometimes I also feel like, oh shit, I'm not doing my job. And I sit down to make sure, and I'm like, oh, okay, she's already done it. So it's been great for my personal life and for business.
So I love that you said that, and I really didn't plan any of these questions, but it plays really well into the point of this entire panel, is the fact that your time is the only commodity that you can't make more of in a day. And the ability to leverage yourself and the market that we're going into, I think, is going to be extremely important, because everyone else that we're competing against is very fearful. They're very fearful of what's going to happen. They're very fearful of their presentation skills. And so the better you can present yourself and the team behind you, the better you will be positioned to sell your fee structure of what you charge. And so I want to ask all three of you, and Keith, you already kind of said it, how do you present the fact now that you have a TC when you're communicating to your clientele? Do you do it by email? Do you include them in everything that you're doing? How have you kind of made that work, and how would you suggest others make it work if they take on a TC?
I haven't done that yet.
Oh.
So now that
Well, you're close.
Now that I said I was 80% there. So I have learned just recently, when I send over this offer, I have to CC her. I wasn't even doing it. I would wait till I got the offer, and then I would send her everything. So now I am more conscious of, it's really easy just to tell your buyers or your sellers, I have a TC now. She's going to be CC'd on everything. So that's my next step.
Cool. Fair go. Jeff?
Similar to what Keith was saying, I do it in the very beginning. I don't know, I just find it easier. In fact, it goes to the agent, and then Amy's always my next one. And then when it's and that's via email. When it's in person, it is part of our presentation, just saying, hey, part of our team, we have our lender and Monica in the office, and then our TC staff. And then I also say in my emails what Keith says. I say always include Amy because she'll respond much faster than I will.
Perfect. Now, Amy, we're going to ask you the question. How do you suggest we would include a TC as part of our business from your observation of doing this as long as you have?
Number one, tell your clients who I am, because if I'm emailing them, there's so many times I get back, who are you? And I've been told I've been introduced, but if you just say TC and do an introduction email between us, I'm not going to talk to them on the phone, but if you do an introduction, they see the name from the beginning, and then they know when I'm sending out emails or whatnot. They see the agent, and I always say, reach out to your agent if you have a question. They still come back with, who are you, especially when it comes to HOA fees. They think I'm the one earning the money for the HOAs. So just, that stuff all needs to be explained up front.
So I like this transition point because a lot of times people don't understand what a licensed and unlicensed assistant or TC can do. And I just want to talk about that real quick for a second. An unlicensed individual cannot communicate with your client on questions about a transaction, right? They can't provide information and advice. They can't tell them which box to check. They can't do those things. They can provide administrative tasks. And so they can send out documents for signature. They can correlate information back and forth for you. But when it comes to talking to the actual client, you are the one that need to make that communication point unless that assistant is physically licensed to talk about real estate. The real estate division put out a bulletin, and if you don't know, they put out bulletins all the time for years, and there's one bulletin that actually says licensed and unlicensed tasks. The reason why Amy's company has remained unlicensed is you cannot be a TC for more than one individual at another brokerage with a license because you can't be in another broker's file. So like I couldn't TC for Nicole, and if I go to Realty One and try to TC for Tim Kelly, I can't do that because I'm licensed here with this company, so I can't be in both of those brokers' files. And so there is a big difference in that you'll see in the marketplace. How have you correlated that to your business? I mean, has it really been a problem? Is it a problem for that goes on? I mean,
well, I do get asked a lot of the times to do tasks that I should not be doing. I get
not by me, right?
never. There's certain things I explain up front. I can't talk to your clients. I cannot cover your business when you go out of town. You need another agent to do that.
I definitely never asked her that because she wasn't going with me. I wouldn't have any business.
I don't know. It's really never a problem because I explain it up front, and so it's not become an issue.
So, like, if I were to, for Becky's point, I'm out traveling. I need to get an addendum together, and I call you and I say, hey, listen, I need you to type up this document with this information. That makes perfect sense as an administrative task that you then send to me, and I look at it and say, yep, that's correct. That's what I want to send out. Please send it for digital signatures, and I send it over, and you send it out for those signatures and get it collected back. That's administrative, but I can't say, hey, Amy, go write an offer on 123 Main Street and let me know how it goes, right? That part would be just way too much for her to be conducting. I've tried it. It didn't work out well for me, but I'm just saying we can't do that. So for the rest of you guys, as you go through this process, besides the time, what have you done with the time that you've gotten back that has affected your business? Like, where have you invested what you got back? Whoever wants to answer it.
Becky's taking care of her dog. Go ahead.
It has really been mostly me getting more of my personal time back. It is my dog. I have investing too much time in that. I also play a lot of sports, and I had to give up that a lot when I was doing things on my own because I was staying up really late doing paperwork. So it is, for me, it's my personal time. I think, like I said, as I'm getting older, I'm just realizing I need more of that personal time rather than just working time.
Sure.
So that's what's become more important to me.
How about you two studs? What have you gotten back?
Keith. I'm going to agree. Utilize more personal time. Spending time with Shannon, our family. Noah's getting he's getting older. Homework is requiring a little bit more time.
Yep.
I'm learning how to use Google a little bit more and how to figure out this math problem. But I would say, yeah, that would probably be the biggest. And then, of course, because it would be daytime hours would be the prospecting and appointments, showings, and all that sort of stuff. So then to get the files done, it would be nighttime. So yeah, for me, it was getting personal time. Yeah.
Good. Keith, anything different? That's the same thing? Yeah.
I think one of the things too is it just frees up your brain. Like so much of a transaction, you're thinking about all the stupid little things that you need to remember to do, and just freeing up your brain and kind of letting that out of your body is really nice. And I will say one of the things, I just started working with Amy also, and one of the things I love about it is I feel like there's more accountability watching my back as far as dates and stuff. And I've used other transaction coordinators, and I'm like at 3 o'clock in the morning going, oh, shit, something happened. And, because maybe I didn't put it in my calendar correctly or something. And I've never been burned for it, but it's been enough of a stress for me that I don't ever want it. And so she calendars everything and sends out, reminders and that kind of stuff. So the freeing of the brain is huge, and the watching my back is huge. And the ABA was just signed, so.
So, there's a lot of newer people here too. So, if you could go through, kind of what you do. So, for instance, you help with I know you send out dates, and you also help with, everything to do with the file. So, can you just kind of, briefly kind of just do a breakdown of what you do, all the things that you do? I know there's a lot, but can you kind of keep it general, for the newer people and all of us?
It is a lot, but it's also very just systematic. So for a listing, you have an appointment with a seller. You know it's coming up. Let us know. We'll prepare the paperwork for you. We typically have a pretty fast turnaround. Sometimes, it's month end. We might not get to it within, an hour or two. We just need grace with that. But so we prepare listing paperwork. Of course, we know signatures requirements. We're going to send you everything. If you're meeting with the seller and get things signed, great. If not, we'll send it to them digitally to get signed. And then we just run from it, helping with MLS and making sure everything's compliant in SkySlope. On a listing, change orders, pictures. Yeah.
Let me clarify one thing on that, because this is kind of cool, and I've been trained well over the years. So I had a land listing presentation just 2 weeks ago, and so I gave Amy 2 days notice, basically saying I've got this appointment. We put together my listing paperwork. Here are all the things that I want the paperwork to include: my commission, my transaction fee. Leave this item blank because I'm going to do it in person. And I gave her instructions on what it is, and so she prepared the documents. I got them that day. I printed them out because that's how weird I am, still am. Put together my listing presentation, did the presentation, met the client. Client said, yep, everything here is what we want. And so I actually had her then send the documents electronically. So the client had an email copy of all that stuff, and she completed all that stuff for me. So there's nuances to how you do it, to how you work with them, and how you want it to be done, and how they go through that process. But you can figure that out as long as you put a process in place, I think, and that's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is, I know emergencies happen, so if that ever happens, you just have to let me know. Text me. I always say text me. I'm not very good on the phone, but text me and just say, I have an emergency. I don't know if you saw it in your inbox, but that doesn't mean I need a text every single time you send me an email. But emergencies happen. We usually try to get to everything within a couple of hours max. And then, but that's pretty much all on a listing, other than, withdrawals happen sometimes. We'll handle those. We don't charge for cancellations, so, don't be afraid to reach out for that kind of thing.
Don't be afraid not to cancel. So buyer side, the one that impacted me the most is I, for the last 10 years, because of a best friend of mine, 11 years ago, have always used a buyer-broker agreement in my business. And so my process is that I know I'm going to have a buyer presentation, usually 24 hours in advance. And so I tell Amy, hey, listen, I need my buyer package together. Here's what I want to put in, my commission rate. Now with our one-page signature document, you only have to tell her the timeline, the client's name, the product type you're looking at, and then what you're charging. And those documents she can get together for either print or electronic. Now, I do want to say, everything she sends me usually comes through the app. I start a transaction, and that's going to be part of my class I'm going to do on the 5th that Janet kicked me into, is that the app is the single best important connection piece that has made my team function really well because of Amy's service and what I do. Do all of you communicate with her through the app? Please shake your head yes. Okay. No, not yet? Okay. We're going to fix that. Come to my class on the 5th, and you too can learn how to succeed. So that's good. That is step one. Step one.
Which
use the app.
too.
So on the buyer side, kind of give an overview of how that progresses.
Well, there's two different sides. So, let's do listing sold first. So when you go under contract, we can help send out for digital signatures, counteroffer if you need a counteroffer drafted. I just, of course, need to know the terms. I'm not going to talk to your client and negotiate. So we'll send that stuff out, open escrow, just like we would if it was our buyer file. Order HOA documents. We'll check with you. Some people like to wait. I know that's a no-no, but it happens. We'll check with you before sending the HOA link out to your client. You're copied on everything. Everything is facilitated from you. Yeah. Calendar. Yep. Thank you. Convert the file on SkySlope. That's about, and then just plug along. And we'll get involved as much as you want to. Well, most people don't have us follow up with lender. We do have some that want us to. We just need to know that. We try to customize a bit per agent. We just need to know that up front.
So I found it interesting, and I'm going to throw this out because I care about all of you. The biggest thing I've heard from not only Amy, but all the TC she interacts with, is that the biggest fail of most agents on a listing is they don't tell their client about the HOA documents. And they don't tell them those funds are coming up front, out of their pocket before the closing. And they don't tell them that they have to do it within a certain time frame, or they could be in violation of the contract. And they don't tell them about the demand that's on top of the HOA package. And they don't tell them that there's a rush fee that they may have to pay if they have to rush it to get a quick closing. And so it is your responsibility to account for all the money. And that's why I recommend that you always do a net sheet when you take a listing and you put on it an assumption for what the HOA fees are going to be for the documents, the demand, and the rush, and that you put it on there out of pocket.
Per association.
Yeah, per association. Because if they don't know that, if you came to me and said, hey, I need $1,200, right, or I'm going to break your legs, I'd be upset with my agent. And if you don't do it, you'll be in violation of the contract. I mean, how happy would a client be? And so I just want to put out there for everybody that does or doesn't use a TC, please make sure you're having that conversation with your client so they know it. I'll be upstairs sometimes watching TV and I'll hear a scream, and it's some poor agent that didn't order an HOA package the right way, and she has to tell them. So go ahead. Anything else on that you want to add, Keith, or anybody else on that on the package side?
Amy's, everything's so systematic with her. I mean, but there's a lot that goes into that, and so she's you can see she's almost like struggling because everything's a system for her. But on the front side of that, she helped me set up my template, my buyer template, and my listing template. So all I do is I'll start the transaction because that's easy when you. Like on the buyer side, you can click that little transaction desk thing, and it takes you right there, and it walks it. So I'll start the transaction. I'll put the clients in there, and then I'll fill it in. But then it's all auto-filled. Well, then she takes it over from there. So I don't know what documents are in there. To this day, I couldn't tell you what documents go out to get signed for the buyer. I will if they call me up and say, hey, what's this one? I'll have to look at it first. But because it's all systemized, she sends it out. In other words, I don't worry about it because I don't have to take care of any of that stuff. It takes me literally 5 to 7 minutes tops, and then I'm done with that file. Same with the listing. I'll send her here's the listing terms. She brings up the template, and I'm done with that listing forever on the docs. And so that's powerful. And the other thing is, when do you get paid? When we get paid. When you don't get paid? When we don't get paid. If we don't get paid, she doesn't get paid. So all that time that we put into, well, she's putting in even more, and nobody gets paid. So it's important to her. It's really a team thing.
Yeah. So I know. I'm all, hey. One thing I do think is so cool is opening escrow. I don't have to worry about it. She does do that, her team. And then also, Nicole touched on it as far as, I don't know if Brandon's still here, but I learned how to use the signature app working with you, and it is so cool to have the to-do things going off. Oh, due diligence coming up and that sort of stuff. Well, like due diligence, order, make sure EMD's in.
I will task them. So some I use Google Calendar, and that's how I put out dates. In the app, I put them right in the app. So it's based, so they get to see all that. If I need them to do something, like I need your help, I'll remind them, hey guys, I need this. You said you had this. Can you please get it to me? That kind of thing. And it's just for some people, it's better. There are people that don't like to use it, and I don't care either way. But
So because I'm new and because I'm still letting go, I put all of my stuff in Dropbox, and I have to say I have not been very communicative with her so far. I'm trying, but she is really good with just going into the computer and going, oh, here it is, I'll find it. She's good with figuring out, okay, I heard the email's not here for the buyer, for the seller. Okay, well, let me go into DocuSign. I'll find it there. So even if you're not communicating well, which I'm not yet, she is really good with going in and digging it out and finding it to handle the situation for you. And then, of course, hopefully the light bulb goes on, which it has. I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't even tell her that. But she finds it. So it's been very beneficial.
So I'm going to highlight one last point, and then I want to open up for any questions you have on processes or the whole thing. A long time ago, I learned that, if I have one deal, it consumes my whole day. And when I have 2 deals, it consumes my whole day. And when I have 7 deals, it consumes my whole day. And it all comes down to schedule and activities and my planning and the systems I put in place. I didn't know high-level transactions at an extreme level were possible until I watched how a day is for you. And she says sometimes she thinks I'm lazy, sometimes she's right. Just so they get the context of it, about how many agents do you have that you work with?
225.
Okay. And how many transactions on a monthly basis on average are you closing?
Right now, 125 closings.
125 closings. That doesn't include openings, that doesn't include cancellations, that doesn't include withdrawals or new listings that go in. So she's managing around 300 some odd transactions in and out. And so, like, physically in my brain space, I'm thinking about the amount of emails that go in, and she makes it through a day with a smile and a martini at the end of it. But that's the point, that organization and processes can allow any amount of business that you have in mind to happen, right? And that's the level of how that flows. Not only that, but everyone uses different processes for their personal business that she has to relate to. And so that's why there's a team, that's why there's a system in place, that's why you're trying to kind of help us fall into some type of system so it makes it easier. What suggestions do you have for those that are just starting? How is it easiest to kind of start out? What email, the app, I mean, what would you start with?
Okay, the signature answer is the app. I personally, it doesn't bother me because I'm in both all day, so it doesn't matter to me. I do like the app as far as it's like text messaging and everything's in there. So I drop all the documents in there. If I'm emailing Stephanie or Tyson, if they don't see the email, it's going right in there. There's an email address tied to each app chat, and so I copy that, and it goes right in there. So that way it prompts whoever I need to look at something, or they see that this happened in a day. I don't know. The app is probably the easiest, but for me, it doesn't matter because I have agents that don't have that. So.
Plus, the app keeps it for the amount of time that we're supposed to keep it.
Yep.
So I used to try to organize it on my desktop. I don't have to do that anymore. Thank you, Amy.
So yes, by file, by address. And the funny thing that I kind of realized until I became a broker and I had to pay attention, I used to laugh whenever a company would tell me, hey, we got this new system. I'm like, I don't care, because she's going to be in it, not me, right? So it just didn't matter at that point, but I had to learn it so that I could go in and find documents. But that is another piece. Think of the amount of training you've spent learning SkySlope or DocuSign or DigiSign or Transaction Desk. For God's sake, talk about templates. That has been a life-changing thing for me. What are templates and how do they work?
Well, for me, it just makes it easier. It's a pain to set up at the beginning, but we will do those for you. But it makes everything faster. So when you have a new listing, if I have a listing template, I'm going to pull that up, and then I can just plug and play the rest. It's already going to have brokerage information, and it might only save 2 minutes, but it saves 2 minutes. And so I think everyone should have templates set up, whether it's in Transaction Desk or SkySlope Forms, whatever you're using.
Yeah. Any questions that I can have the illustrious panel answer? Roya.
So another thing that a lot of people are hesitant for as far as getting a transaction coordinator is availability. Like sometimes, do you only work 9 to 5? Do you work it's got to be like, you have to have some kind of balance. Otherwise, you're going to be like on 24/7 call like we are, which is going to be brutal to your life. So tell us a little bit about how that works. Go.
Let me just say that, like, we just talked about how many clients she has. I don't ever feel like she has that many clients. If I'm emailing her, I'm getting a response within a few minutes. I feel like I'm her only client. Yeah. And I like to feel like that with my clients. I want them to believe they're my only one. So she's on it all the time, and I never feel like anything gets missed. It's instant.
That's nice.
Okay, so my published hours are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. That never happens. I usually start at 6. My staff does not start till 8. I can't pick my staff is Monday through Friday. Weekends, if there's true emergencies, there's a lot of stuff that at 9 o'clock at night, you think it's an emergency, nothing's going to change if I do it at 6 in the morning. So if it's a true emergency, I just always ask, text me. Yes, I'm on my phone all the time, and I do see my emails. But if it's an emergency that you absolutely need handled at night or over the weekends, if I'm not available, I will text. I'm fortunate enough to have 2 of my daughters working for me, so I can text them and say, hey, hop on the computer. I need you to do this.
The whole reason that Amy connected with Signature was we were on a plane to D.C., Tom was sitting behind me, and Amy worked the entire time on the plane, and Brandon was sitting in between us. I don't know why he was sitting next to me, and he goes, what are you doing? And she goes, oh, I just opened these escrows and put this listing in for an agent on the plane. And he goes, you're on vacation. And she goes, there are no vacations. And we're still married. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Maybe not a question, but an endorsement. 5 years ago when I came to Signature, I used Amy. She's excellent, excellent work. For us, we had like thousands of leads, and paperwork was just was getting in the way from us contacting our leads, right? And that's really where transaction coordinators come in. If you guys got tons and tons of leads, whether you're calling or online, paperwork gets in the way of that. That's why you kind of get a transaction coordinator.
Okay, oh, Isla. Sorry, you got me right before the last comment.
So you mentioned the reason why you're not licensed agent is because you won't be able to TC at so other brokerages because you are here.
Basically, you can't be licensed in this office and then go to work at Realty One as a licensee. So I can't be in multiple. I can't be licensed here and then access my clients' files at Coldwell Banker.
So you do. Okay, you're not just Signature. You're
correct.
Realty One, all of them. Okay.
Yep.
Got it. So okay.
Oh, yeah, A to Z transactions.
So let me just add one thing. There is no better transaction to have is when you have Amy and the other side has Amy, and you can just sit back and go, ha ha. So that's the lovely thing about being able to have multiple companies in her stockpile, because more than likely you'll have that kind of a deal, and it was pretty damn simple.
And in that instance, just as a disclaimer, I'll typically split it up between Brittany, who is my oldest daughter. She's been a TC for 17 years. So I'll try to split it up so that we always keep it confidential, but that way you're feeling like it's more confidential.
So I'm going to share this only because Tom brought it up. So I was doing a transaction. That's them calling now. I was doing a transaction, and the agent on the other side asked me, "Have you been doing this for long?" And I said, "Yeah, I've been doing it for a little while, pretty diligently." And they said, "Oh, well, I noticed your TC, Amy. We've done a lot of deals with her. She's fantastic. Is there any relation there?" And I said, "Well, yeah, she's my wife." And they said, "Oh my God, you're Amy Bishop's husband?" And I said, "Yep, sure am." And it was a very smooth transaction because everyone in the deal, the escrow officer, the lender, everyone knew her, and the correlation of information flowed really easy. And I've actually got deals accepted because they've done a transaction with her. I never thought that it would come to that part, but it's the truth, and that's how it works. So any opportunity you can use to make incentive is the whole point. Any last questions before we wrap this up? Let's give our panel a big round of applause.
Panel, and we got gifts.
They have the new
logo,
signature hats for the panel.
The new signature hats.
Are those cool or what?
Let's see. Where's Blanchard? Between 1 and 27. Shout out a number. 13. Lucky number 13. Eric Ruff.
Hey. Is it the?
We got one more. Yeah.
cup?
There you go. One more. Janet, between 1 and 27. 25. David Shen. There's
Where's
the
David?
other one.
There he is.
Huh?
The new signature cups. Kind of like
Good
the
stuff.
Grail.
The new logo. Wear them well, and drink well.
Hey, just real quick, Amy's information, again, it wasn't just about that, but thank you for doing this. Thank you
Yes.
for answering the questions. Thank you for sharing your business with us. We're going to put Amy's information in there. You can definitely get her in the Signature app. Everyone should be using that and learn how to use it. Our class will be August 5th because Janet has ordered it. And so I'm happy to teach how I've used Amy's service in the app for my team and the whole part. And anything else, Mr.
Finally,
Manager?
tomorrow, remember, 3:30, open house. Sit down with the broker. Invite your realtor friends. Show them the Signature Life. Let them experience what we do here. See you guys tomorrow night in here in the coolest office. Thanks, everybody.
Piece of my heart.